Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lerner,
Here.
Ms. Dolan,
Here.
Mrs. Jeffrey,
Here.
Mayor Morgan,
Here.
Mrs. McKnight,
Here.
Mr. Gardner.
Here.
Let's salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is a public meeting, Borough Council, Borough of New Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey. Adequate notice has been given in accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231. That an annual notice of revision was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act. I need a motion for appointment of Rupert Kale for Board of Education Liaison to the Municipal Alliance.
So moved?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
No? So be it. Approval of minutes of January 27th. Motion, please.
So moved?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
No? So be it. Okay. Correspondence. New Jersey American Water, purchase water and wastewater adjustment clause. The hearings on February 12th. Township of Berkeley Heights Planning Board, adoption of housing element and fair share plan. Township of Berkeley Heights Ordinance 01, introducing the municipal land use procedures. Any comments? No. Okay. Let's go to council business, administration, and Dean.
Thank you, Mayor. Basically, these two items are authorizations to solicit proposals. So the first one is an authorization to solicit proposals for fireworks. So our fireworks last year were around 16,000-ish. We're not sure how much the price is going to go up this year, but our threshold for needing to go out to bid is 17.5. So we're erring on the side of caution, and we're putting it out for bid. We'll see what comes back. And the second is an authorization to solicit RFQs for planning services. So back at our reorg meeting, we appointed our existing planner, Hire Gruel, for 1 quarter of 2026. So this is an authorization to go out for bids for other planners.
Okay. Engineering, Kathleen.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2025-075 is a resolution approving partial payment number 2 to Current Elevator Technology Incorporated in the amount of $65,000 for the project commonly known as Elizabeth Barabash Manor Elevator Replacement. The elevator is being replaced at Barabash Manor, and the funds for this project come from a CDBG grant and the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
About time.
Okay. Finance, Lisa.
You needed it for
Thank
a
you,
long
Mayor.
time.
We have Resolution 2026-76. This is Appropriation Reserves Transfer Resolution. We are transferring money from the 2025 budget to reserve accounts for insurance liability, road repairs and maintenance, and snow removal. As you know, the beginning of the year, we see a lot of these transfers while we are getting our budget buttoned down. So these are permitted during the first 3 months of the succeeding fiscal year. Again, we have Resolution 2026-77. This is a resolution authorizing emergency temporary appropriations. So this is amending the 2026 municipal temporary budget to add dollars for the PFRS retirement system, utilities, and the PERS retirement system. We have Resolution 2026-78. It's a resolution authorizing the payment of attached bills payable list. The total amount of $9,922,636.86. Some of the larger items include our February tax levy for the New Providence Board of Ed. That was $9,354,000. We have our February appropriation for the library, $119,967. We have the elevator that we just talked about for Barabash, $65,000. professional property appraisers. This is a progress payment for the reval, $52,221. We have rock salt for $51,332. Woodland Builders, who did snow removal for us, $35,963. Youth basketball program with Blaze Basketball for $35,136. Our January recycling was $34,420. Our December electric bill was $29,796. And Whitmere Public Safety for turnout gear, which is $29,456. That's it.
Okay, Municipal Alliance, Kathleen.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is another authorization to solicit proposals for the clothing donation bin collection services. So there is a donation clothing bin over in the EMS parking lot that supports the Municipal Alliance funding. And this is just going out for a renewal bid to extend the contract.
Okay, Resolution 079 is authorizing to apply for the New Jersey Law and Public Safety Grant for Law Enforcement Wellness and Resiliency Grant. And as many of you know, we have a workout room here at the Municipal Center for the Police Department, and the equipment's getting old, and we're going for a grant to get new equipment. So it'll be a good addition to the new police department coming. So, okay, we have a limousine application from Shahid Akram for Summit Express. The application has been properly prepared and reviewed. So we'll go to Public Works and Alan.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 080 is a resolution approving requisition R2600315 for Pierce Eagle Equipment and Company in an amount not to exceed $3,443.45. This is for sewer jet repair in the wastewater treatment plant, and this is just approving the purchase of a water pump and various valve replacements.
Okay, go to discussion items. If anybody's looked at social media, they see what's going on over there, over on 630 Central. There is a lot of misinformation. So we put out this statement, and I'd like to read it tonight. The Borough issues this statement to address inquiries regarding alleged environmental conditions at the properties located at 630 Central Avenue and the planned demolition of the existing structure. Based on a review of records maintained by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and the Borough, there is no documented evidence of soil contamination, groundwater contamination, or vapor intrusion associated with the 630 Central Avenue property. The property is not listed in the New Jersey DEP environmental databases, and there is currently no classification exemption area designated for this location. A groundwater contamination plume has been identified in a separate, unrelated industrial property in the vicinity north of Central Avenue. That site is subject to ongoing remediation according to the New Jersey DEP technical staff. Available data indicate that the contamination from that state is not migrating towards 630 Central Avenue property. No data has been identified demonstrating past or present impacts on 630 Central Avenue property. The CEA is an institutional control that the DEP applies within an area where groundwater contaminant concentrations exceed the applicable groundwater quality standards, identifying the known extent of groundwater impacts
at specific depth and location. The CEA referenced in recent communications applies to a bedrock aquifer associated with another site that does not constitute evidence of contamination at 630 Central Avenue property. The borough and the NJDEP have no legal authority to require environmental sampling, investigation, or remediation at the property in the absence of documented contamination or regulatory triggers. At this time, no such basis exists for the 630 Central Avenue property. NJDEP does not issue, regulate, or impose conditions on demolition permits. Demolition permits is administered locally, and there is no regulatory requirement to condition a demolition permit on environmental sampling or where no contamination has been identified. The existing structure does not contain a basement, and demolition activities will not involve subsurface excavation beyond the removal of surface materials. Nearby properties, including childcare and educational facilities, have been completely required environmental sampling within the past year and received results indicating no detected impacts. These findings further support the conclusion that no off-site impacts have been identified in this area. Assertions regarding cancer incidents or alleged cancer clusters are under the jurisdiction of the New Jersey Department of Health and require comprehensive epidemiological,
Epidemiological.
that too. Data. No findings or determinations have been issued by the Department of Health linking 630 Central Avenue property to adverse health outcomes. The borough has received all the information presented to date and has not been provided with data establishing a regulatory or legal basis for further action. The borough will continue to cooperate with the New Jersey DEP and the Department of Health should credible, verifiable information be submitted in the future. So at this time, if anybody has any questions about this statement, please raise their hand and give their name and address. Yeah, Phil.
Yes, Al. I wasn't here at the initial presentation, but was that the whole site, the letter?
Well, you have to give your name and address
Okay, no,
first.
I will. Good evening. My name's Phil Dempsey. I've been a New Providence resident for over 40 years, and I'm familiar with the town for 60-plus years. I'm not sure what was initially the first part of the presentation, but my property existed within the map that was shown that was been, I guess, controversial now. We received a certified letter explaining that we've so been identified, and that obviously I was concerned as to what the status it was, so I inquired of the state at that time. And because obviously my property value would be directly affected because I was served, and therefore there's an official record that exists with the property, my property. That's on 40 Hawthorne over by Robert School, probably at least a third of a mile away from the direct site where the contamination occurred. Within that contamination area, there's been several spills over the years that had to be addressed. I know I wasn't here at the time when the greenhouse issues were all existed, but I understand there was one for that. Then over by the firehouse and the power lines, There was also another spill regarding to the garage that once existed there that did auto work. There was a contamination site there. But the one here at 630, which directly affected us by service, they had wells that were throughout the area, test wells, to see at the extent of what the contamination was. It was a known cancer-causing chemical that was put into the ground, and it was put in the ground by a company, and I don't have the exact name, that had manufactured chips for computer chips, and it was etchings that went directly into our water table, and therefore it spread out through the water table being contaminated. I can say from that location all the way over to myself, which is right near Roberts School, we were all sited within a contaminated area. The owner of the property has flipped at least a dozen times. The property has been held by many different corporations and sold off and off and off again. And I'm not sure if all the information has currently exists as to what the current owners know what happened on that property. So I actually had met with Al on his Friday's meetings, and thank you, Al. As a resident, long-term resident, and hearing all these stories and going through the concerns, I suggested to Al, or he made me aware that the town cannot ask or cannot demand access to the property. It's not our property. It's their property. We have nothing conclusive to go out there and test the land. And I completely understand that. The reports that the town has been provided saying, well, everything currently is okay. But I think this letter here and this report that this person wrote about, there is no denying that this site did exist, that the property owners in the surrounding area had been served, and that there is a known event that occurred there. And my suggestion to Al at that time is, because with property flipping, not everything follows through. All the existing reports, it's like prepackaging mortgages that happened in 2008. That the town writes to the current owner through the attorney and advising them of what the prior problem was, so that if there is a problem that does develop after disturbing the soil again, that the current owner will have full knowledge prior to any work that he does on that land. This way, it should help relieve some of the pressures as to what individuals in the communities are experiencing. That are we going to be experiencing a cancer cluster or something of that venture? Are we going to, because all this organic material would come back up through the rock. We all know what happens with radon, and this would travel the same path as radon, up to the grounds and into the homes. So my suggestion to Al is that their discussion is that the town attorney writes a letter to the current owner of the property, advising that this had existed on the land prior, and that testing would alleviate a lot of problems within the community. So that was.
You did ask me to see if we could ask the owner. We
Pardon?
did a week or so ago.
Uh-huh.
And they denied it. They say they're in full compliance. But I'll let you have a copy of this letter because it explains that there was never on that site any contamination. But
Well, they were in the contaminated zone.
please,
Oh, sorry.
I'll let you read this. It states what it is, but I'll let Mr. Robertson, because he has been in contact, as well as Ms. Cacaro, over the last 2 weeks.
Okay, well, yeah,
Okay. Over the last 2 weeks, because I was getting questions, this and that. I'm not like I said, not an environmental engineer.
Oh, sure.
Either is anybody here on council. So, I give it to the professionals and let them go through it, deal with the proper authorities.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, and, we want to protect the community as best we can. But we have to go by what the state says and the professionals say. So at this point, I'll let Mr. Robertson go through it, because he's been in contact with them for the last 2 weeks.
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just for clarification, I think that's what the mayor was just referring to. I think the site that you mentioned is not 630 Central Avenue. It's a different site on the north side of Central Avenue. It's a different site that was the source of the contamination that you're referring to. 630 is a site across the street that has never been identified as the source of any contamination. The issue that was presented before the borough was the issuance of a demolition permit for a property at 630 Central Avenue that is not included in any DEP database as being contaminated or the source of contamination. And the question then became, is there any legal authority to withhold approval of a demolition permit? It's not construction of building anything, it's a demolition permit based upon, on a site that is not the source of, or is not listed as a regulated site. So that was the limited issue before the borough. The confusion relates to a classification exception area that's unrelated to that site of unknown origin. And there is a plume, but that relates to an underground groundwater aquifer that I understand is 100 feet below the ground surface. It's not an indication that this site at 630 was the source of it or is contaminated in any way. So that's the situation that exists. That's what the borough is dealing with. And the limited issue that the borough had in front of it was the issuance of a demolition permit. And we have been in contact with the DEP, with the Board of Health. The building construction official has been in touch with the DCA. And it's been confirmed to the borough that there's no legal authority which would allow the borough to restrict or condition the issuance of the demolition permit without further regulatory triggers that don't exist. So that's the situation that exists.
May I?
Sure.
When a property owner receives notification from because of an environmental hazard, does that stay attached to the property? If I want to sell my house and I've been served, do I have responsibility, or is that in my property folder to end up passing on to the new owner?
I don't want to get involved in a discussion about the legal ramifications.
It's just that. Does it, once you get served, is that property attached to it?
Can I say something? Just working in real estate. Like,
Yeah.
if you received a notice, you'd have to probably include it in your seller disclosure.
Yes.
And even if you didn't, the corresponding attorney, while doing their due diligence, may be able to pull that information anyway.
Correct.
So,
So,
Now,
Mr. Dempsey, I just want to jump in and just clarify that the certified letter that you received came from 111 Spring Street.
It did not come from 630. The 111 Spring Street owners had done due diligence when
Right.
they were constructing that property.
That's correct.
The wells that you're talking about have all been decommissioned because they have found to have done the proper abatement on that property. So that condition no longer exists.
But if I may, that Spring Street property was contained within the same area that I received my certified letter in, that the plume does exist, it does exist under the property, and that map some map that I saw actually does represent what I had received. So they are contained, that was the main source of contamination occurred here,
So,
but it affected the surrounding areas.
but what I can emphatically tell you, because we received word from 111 Spring Street yesterday that they are filing with the DEP that all of those wells have been decommissioned because there is no contamination left on the site.
I'm just going to use my imagination here a little bit, is that you have, for years, etchings from computer chips that were dropped into the sewer that received into the water that reached as far as literally Roberts School in one direction, down to the Passaic River in the other direction, and over toward South Street on the other. And all the areas there were deemed affected or exposed to it. And therefore, when they did decommission that area and they treated it, they had to basically bring everything in or try to sweep it in and take it out. The concern that I think I have and some of my neighbors end up having is that we live in an area that has there's perk issues in this town, and so when you're blasting, you're going to disturb what was once settled or deemed settled. I mean, it's like if at the test sites they seem to be fine or at that level, and I don't know if each well was tested. I don't have any current updating on it, but it's sort of like sweeping your floor. I can sweep this common area here, but I'm not sweeping underneath the chairs and tables. So when the blasting occurs, it's going to disturb the other areas. It's going to shake things up, and I just don't. I don't want to be put in a situation again where my house is contaminated, the property is contaminated. Yeah, they did good. I don't even know if this occurred during your administration. I believe it might have occurred prior with Tom's or the other administration when this all started occurring in town. But I would just like to say that I think as a good neighbor policy and reducing costs is that the town, which has the files, which had received the information that had prior knowledge of it, even though everything currently is okay, takes that information and through with the attorney and saying, property owner, we want to make you aware that this had existed on your property, whether it came in your discovery, your due diligence when you bought that property, whether you knew about it. We, in protection of our residents here and not to have to go through this issue again, is provide that information to the property owner. So this way they cannot say they didn't know if something does happen because we will have provided it to them as a means of also protecting our residents. That's all. Just write a letter and provide all what occurred prior to the okay. They can make their decision as to how they're going to go forward. I completely understand, as the mayor has said, in regards to can't go onto their property. But I think this is a reasonable way of getting the question answered satisfactorily, where the town has done due diligence by providing everything to them, and it's their choice. If something happens, they cannot say, we didn't know, because otherwise that falls back on us.
So basically what you're talking about is providing factual information with no ask associated with it, no question about permitting or anything like that, just providing factual information.
And they can deem whether they want to go forward with it at that time, whether they want it on protection of themselves as a good effort is to do a test well. And maybe ask the state to come back and test again. I don't think it would be that hard, or also to have the wells that exist, and I believe they still exist,
They've been decommissioned.
but they still exist.
No, they've been decommissioned.
They've been closed up?
Mhm.
I thought I saw them on certain areas in town in this surrounding area.
Not from 111 Spring Street, which is
On their property.
on their property. There were 28 samples collected within the biologically active zone. All were analyzed for PCBs, which were not detected in any of those samples.
Only PCBs?
A total of 7 samples were collected from within the biologically active zone for TAL pesticides and lead. A review of the data identified some low-level exceedances of applicable ESCs for dihydrin, DDT, samples. I can share this with you. I mean,
Sure.
it's pretty excessive.
But did they test it for explicit what was known? In other words,
I'd have
that
to
sounds like
read-
having a CBC on a
I'd have to
level.
read through the entire
Right.
report, but their recommendation is that I can, hold on,
But this is new as of this week, is what you're,
as of yesterday.
as of yesterday. Okay, so this is new information.
Well, let me ask you something. I
Sure.
mean, this is regarding, the demolition permit at 630. Now, once there's a permit to build, will there be soil samples? Will there be soil testing before permits are issued to actually build?
My understanding is whenever there's a new building, soil samples have to be taken. But you don't have to do it for demolition, if there's nothing existing.
And so if the soil is tested upon, for the building portion of it, I'm sure that'll be a matter of public record.
And that would actually be more beneficial for your concerns because it's after whatever disruption may
Right.
happen, even though understanding that the issue is down 100 feet in the bedrock.
Right, like the soil that is existing on that property could very well be not contaminated. I don't doubt it. The problem comes down to it is what has gone down into the water down below. When you start blasting, you're going to cause fractures.
Phil,
And-
there's not gonna be any blasting. This is on a
Just
slab.
excavate.
Okay.
It's not, they're not even digging the dirt out. They're just going to remove it, and remove the building.
I'm only here speaking from what I know and what I've experienced.
Now, you can take this, 'cause this will
I
tell
would
you-
like to read that, thank you. But,
This will tell you, it's a slab. But they're
okay,
not going down, so there's no basement.
right.
And we don't have well water here that we're using, for our drinking purposes. So I'm not trying to make light of anything, but, one of the biggest concerns with any contaminated site, and, they use the word contaminated sort of loosely because any sort of industrial area or commercial area that needs to be excavated or turned into another property will be considered, a contamination site, just because it's not the original purpose of what it was before. And I think a lot of the biggest concern that people have is when they hear contaminated and it gets into the water, is that, oh, I'm drinking this. But, we don't have well water here. So maybe you could just rest a little bit easier with that piece.
Right. Okay, you got Alan and Al, okay.
Let's talk about the spelling again.
But being in real estate, the issue that comes up with radon and how radon travels. And my concern is that this disturbance, deep disturbance, can very well cause a release. And that's what I want to just let the owner of the property know what he's in a territory that's been identified. Maybe deemed clean right now. I don't know how many test wells are really there on his site. But that this was the information, courtesy. When the town received all the information, here's the information we've received, we want to let you be aware of this, and obviously you can go forward, you have the choice of going forward with it. We would like the town to keep everything quiet, because there's enough issues with this, is that, yeah, we can do it, we can do a little better monitoring now that we became aware of this, in a good working relationship with the community. It's, my whole thing here is that the information that had existed, even though it may be deemed clean, is provided directly to the property owner to decide what he's going to do.
It's already been done.
The old reports?
The construction official has already told the owner of the property.
I personally would like to see it official from our point of from the town, that the town provides the legal information, not from a conversation that did exist. I would like to see a paper trail go from the town by certified mail to the owner.
I will let Mr. Robertson decide.
Okay, I think that would be.
We're just dragging
We're going
this
around
out.
right now. It's a strategy. Now it's becoming more of a strategy. Just that I'm just here to say that this does exist. I did follow up with the state. I did have follow-ups, conversation with the state at the time. And I've also seen how the property has continuously switched hands from one company
You're
to another.
talking about a different property.
No, I'm talking about Springs. I'm talking about the actual site where it occurred.
It occurred when you're talking about.
Across the street.
Across the street. North American Phillips, they still are in charge, they're responsible for the remediation.
Right, but North American Phillips was like one of many, many companies that hold this
But
property.
they're still.
Yeah.
They're still in charge of being responsible for the remediation.
But they've been certified saying that the remediation is cleaned. North American Phillips have been told that it's okay now.
But we're talking two different.
No, but
animals.
they're saying it's okay. I'm just saying that we're
No,
having
we're
to
talking
work.
about 630 Central.
Right.
They had there was only thing on that property before
The greenhouses.
Martindale Hubble were greenhouses.
Right.
No computer chips, nothing.
I agree. There's no concern there. But I'm just saying
Well,
is
you
that.
keep bringing it up.
Well, because the state identified
We're
it in
going-
the
we're going in
plume.
circles.
The plume was identified, and that it contained Spring Street. That contained Spring Street.
And that's been cleaned.
But that's clean to the best of their knowledge. But I don't know all those information has been provided. I'm just saying that for myself as a resident, is that I would like to see the town send a certified letter.
You've made that
Yeah,
clear.
that's it. They can go
Leave that up
forward.
to Mr.
Be-
Robertson.
Yep, this helps the residents in the town.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you for your concern.
After 40-some years, right?
Yeah,
Are you still on this piece of property? This is one issue right here?
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, there is one question, there's just something that I would like to mention regarding that area of property. And I think it's very noticeable right now on the Central Avenue street. There's parking allowed on both sides of the street. Am I correct there?
Well, that has something to do with this.
No, but I'm just saying, I know that's why I asked for an indulgence to just mention this.
Yeah, I think there is.
Okay, is that you have gyms, you have, the swimming, the tennis, the gym, other constructions going on there, parking, which is going to be very, very tight in that, in these developments that are coming out there. It's going to overflow onto Central Avenue. We're going to have parking on both sides of the street. And if you can take a look, if you drive down Central Avenue right now with the snow, that the street's going to get very narrow. Going to get very narrow. I mean, when it comes down snowfall, I have traffic backed up 2 blocks before the school just to try and get out of the driveway. That perhaps the town could end up removing parking on one side of the street.
I don't think there's any parking on Central.
Yes, there is,
Yeah,
both sides. Both sides.
Really?
Yeah.
Because like, my daughter goes to AWR, so I probably pass your house every
I
day.
Yeah.
never see people
Yeah, I don't-
parking.
Yeah, we look at the lines on the side of the street, you have the main lines, you have the
I
parking
mean, I
lot.
definitely have seen people park on the opposite side of the street where, where the swimming club is, but I mean,
Yeah, you see
further
it.
down.
Yeah, you have it there, you
Some
have,
street
you have the school, you
Oh,
have
no, I
the
will
daycare.
I'll talk to the
Yeah.
traffic officer.
I think that it should be limited to only one side of the street. You have the soccer fields there, you have the daycares there. The daycare's a perfect example. You'll see parking in front of the daycare that's on the street right now, where Moses. And it's only gonna get worse. It's gonna get very, very worse.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Phil.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed on that. Okay, let's go to committee reports. I have a couple things. We had an overview last week from the police department about traffic and parking. Thanks for coming, Phil.
Every quarter century.
I promised everybody, I guess it was 4 years ago when we cut the town in quarters, and we have different things going on. It was a good presentation by Dan, but I will bring up the parking Central Avenue. It may be something that works. Close it off one side, no parking. But we're no different than any other, but our crime rate is a lot lower than a lot of the other communities are. And I think that has to do with people just being vigilant. And like I say to everybody, you get up in the middle of the night, just take a peek out the window. If you see something that shouldn't be there, please make a phone call. A lot of the people that you catch doing bad things are done by accident. Somebody just looks out the window, that's not right, and they call up. So, but we're doing a lot more with the slowing traffic down, trying to get pedestrian safety, getting more of the flashing beacons in the crosswalks, so it's all good. Each quadrant in the town has 2 officers assigned to it for a neighborhood watch type thing, so things are going really well on that front. We just had a meeting, public safety with the fire department. They need volunteers, I think they're scheduled to get almost 200 more calls this year over last year, the way it's tracking. They go out with water main breaks, they go out for everything, all accidents, so we're trying to come up with a plan to try and get more volunteers. The chief also was made the emergency management coordinator, and he has a lot of good ideas to inform the public in a faster way, besides the website and Smart 911. But I do ask that everybody sign up for Smart 911. It's a good way to get information if there's a problem out there. So, what else we have? Oh, I went to a Eagle Scout ceremony where 2 twins were given Eagle Scouts. The troop is in Chatham, and I didn't know this troop exists, but it's all female. And I am so proud of these two young women to get the Eagle Scout. And, there were 50 young women in that troop. And it's amazing. I don't think we have 50 in the two troops here in New Providence.
Maybe if you add them together.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, maybe.
Yeah.
But,
280 is fantastic. My daughter's starting in it in a couple of months. We're
Yeah.
very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, so, but I thought it was amazing. And Nitya and Aya Ramulia, they're fantastic. In fact, I gotta talk to you, Bernadette, about one of them's looking to do an internship. So, just incredible kids. And we have Valentine's Day coming up. Everybody love each other. Let's be respectful. And unfortunately, the bad news that happened last week is that we're gonna have 6 more weeks of winter. The Business Association came up with an idea to have me hold a groundhog. Thank God it was a stuffed groundhog. And we have our own Pioneer Pete. So maybe that'll, be a fun thing to do in February. So everybody, please support the town businesses. With all the snow and everything else, it's hard to get around. So we have everything here in town that you need. So support our local businesses. Okay, who's next, Alan?
Before I start, I did want to say one thing. I'm not on the Public Safety Committee, and it's sort of out of our jurisdiction, but there has been a lot of chatter about the crossing over into Chatham, on Central and River Road is in desperate need of a 4-way stop sign. Is there some way we can get in touch with Chatham?
I already have.
Okay.
And they put a temporary light in Union County because we did that project.
Well, they took
But
the light out, and then there was like 3 accidents already.
I know, my wife works for Chatham Township. So,
Yeah, I travel there almost 3 times a week.
She has to go through that intersection. It's a dangerous intersection. Now, they're aware, but to put a light in.
Well, I don't think a light. I think a 4-way stop sign would be more than adequate and just better in the temporary.
That's not a county road.
No, I know.
So that's up to Chatham Township. But I'll mention it again, and they'll have to go through a warrant study and all that, so.
Okay.
It's not an easy process.
I think easier
Some
than
of them
putting a
just
light,
do
but
it,
yeah, I get
if they're
it.
not cold on it, But, yeah, it's
Okay.
dangerous.
Thank you. Okay, so community activities. Let's see what we have here. So registration is open now on the Community Pass. There are still coaches that are needed for T-ball and grades 1 and 2 baseball. So please consider volunteering. Registration, is ongoing. The programs that are offered right now, co-ed T-ball, kindergarten, or age 5 by March 1st, 2026. Co-ed baseball, grades 1 and 2. Boys Diamond Ready Baseball Clinic, grades 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Registration. You good? And so I think registration is ongoing, and there's something that is expiring this Friday. Let's see. Public Works and wastewater treatment. Me and Brian had a really long visit. Diane had said, "Can I make one suggestion to you? Don't visit, DPW during the winter." And I was just like, it has to be done. And this is after the snowstorm, so it was still, pretty a mess. But they run a really tight ship there, and we both have a newfound respect for what goes on at the facility and the personnel there and how it sort of operates, and it's like a pretty well-oiled machine that they have going there. So the pending equipment replacements in 2026 that they're looking for, chemical pumps, the hypochlorite and sulfur dioxide system, 2 second-stage pumps and motors, safety hatches in the pump building. I think we already approved that. A primary clarifier, tank restoration, drive and arms, plastic filter, the tank restoration and replace media, and rock filter for conversion to holding tank. Other than that, let's see, sustainability. Get my notes. We're going to be bidding out for the compost program. I went to the coffee with Dr. Zerpeli this morning and just got some information about some of the Board of Ed stuff. The next Board of Ed meeting is next week, so I encourage everyone to go to that. We had a meeting with some of the members of the pool board and some of the internal, peoples. They are finalizing their lease, so hopefully we'll, okay, fine, you'll talk about that. Like I said, so Councilwoman Dolan will be addressing that, so you can scratch everything I said. And I'll turn it over to, I'll stay in my lane, sorry. I'm still new to this.
Just kidding. Okay. You done?
Floor is yours,
Okay,
Councilwoman.
okay. Thank you. I just want to talk about the Diversity Committee quickly. We did have a meeting, and we're now need to schedule a second meeting to just get the framework established for this committee taking on ownership of running the meeting, establish a chair, all the logistics that go into getting the group underway. So nothing new other than that to report, although the meetings will be scheduled. For the New Providence Municipal Alliance, we met on February 4th, and we've reviewed the adjustments that are being made to the programming they support. There were changes in the funding guidelines, I think that we mentioned before, for the funding provided by the Governor's Council on Substance Use Disorder. So they have to adjust the way that they have been putting forward their educational programming. The next thing coming up for them is that they're co-sponsoring the latest installment in the Parent Wellness Education Series featuring the Screenagers films. There was one last year. They're going to have one this year as well, and it's titled Screenagers Under the Influence, which addresses vaping, drugs, and alcohol in the digital age. That will be at the New Providence High School Auditorium on Tuesday, February 24th, starting at 6:30 p.m., followed by a panel discussion. And parents, caregivers, and students are encouraged to attend. For the New Providence Community Pool, efforts are continuing in collaboration with the pool board as the 2026 pool season approaches. New Providence residents might be aware that community pools in some of our surrounding towns are dealing with declining registrations. Over the past few years, our pool is no exception. So we're working with the pool board to identify ways to increase membership, reduce expenditures where possible. But it's also important to note that the New Providence Community Pool is 100% responsible for operating the pool. They are under a land lease agreement with the borough, and they are a 501c7 organization, which is a member benefit entity. That's different than a 501c3, which is a public benefit entity. So more information will be coming soon about registration for the 2026 season, so stay tuned for that. New Providence Historical Society, the next meeting will be Thursday, February 19th at 7. If you were able to attend the January 30th Colonial Libations event at the Saltbox Museum, hopefully you had a good time. I know I attended that session in November, and it was really great, not only to experience the libations, but to understand more about the history of New Providence. It's a great resource for people, and they're always looking for new members, so please go to newprovidencehistorical.com and sign up. That's all, Mayor.
Okay, Nadine?
Thank you. I only have one little thing, and it's actually a little bit fun. So I was clearing out Alex's backpack today, and he came home with flat George Washington. So the elementary schools are going to be giving out flat George Washington, and on this side is flat Sybil. So the kids are going to color them, and I believe they're going to mail them out to a relative. So why am I talking about this? This is all about America 250. So this is our next installment in the America 250 that's coming out of the schools as a way to educate the children about our founding fathers. Fun little fact about Sybil, she was an actually more successful version of Paul Revere, and she rode farther and stayed out longer than he did. And you may note she has a little lantern, which reminds me of the lantern thing going on right now in town. So if you did not buy your lanterns and put them out, word is spreading, the revolution is spreading, so get your lanterns out for America 250.
Girl power.
Yes, yes, solar power. They're actually
No, I
very-
said girl
Girl
power.
Girl power.
Well, girl and
power.
solar,
Both.
both,
And
it's fine.
solar.
Go Sybil, both.
Both
So
important.
yeah, your daughter probably got this. So check out her backpack. She should have it.
So we were talking about the collaboration for Rev 250, how the Historical Society, the library, the schools are all doing their part. So this is what the schools are doing to teach the kids about our 250th.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I think we'll color it and probably mail it to family either in Utah or Colorado. So, and that's it for me.
Thank you. Lisa?
Thank you. So our seniors, my last report, we had met with Allison and Michelle to go over, you know, what we can do for the seniors, how we can communicate with them, how we can provide resources and information that they need. We had said at the last meeting that we would put together a schedule to have at least 2 of our council members not present, but just be at the DeCorso and at Lantern Hill to sort of like a catch-up. You know, if they are not able to come to council meetings, if they are not, you know, if they're not watching it and they just want to get some information as to what's going on in the borough, some of the things that we're dealing with firsthand, that this is going to be a good opportunity for us to be able to communicate with them. So we did put a schedule together. We will be at the DeCorso every quarter, and we will be at Lantern Hill as well every quarter. Our first date is March 27th, actually, for both. We'll be at DeCorso in the morning and at Lantern Hill in the afternoon. And then we'll take it from there. And like I said, we'll be rotating, so it's not going to be the same faces.
I was just about to ask that question.
Yeah.
Definitely rotate.
Yeah, so we'll rotate it, you know, 2 people at each one, give everybody an opportunity.
And also, we'll be looking to go to Barabash Manor as
Oh,
well.
Barabash as well, yes.
A lot of times, they're not as engaged with the senior center as a lot of the other residents are, so it's always really nice to go in there. So we haven't really moved forward with that yet, but stay tuned for that.
Yep. The Finance Committee met on, last week. We went through the first draft of the budget. You know, just out of a high-level glance, what we're seeing is some increased costs, and things that we don't really have wiggle room with. They're fixed costs that come down to us. For instance, you know, pensions, but insurance is one of the areas, and we have a lot of insurance in all regards, in all different sectors, so liability and auto and health and you name it. So we're seeing some big bumps to expenses in those areas. Brian and I will dig into it a little bit more, and, you know, we'll keep working on it. Stay tuned. That's it.
Go ahead, Brian.
Alrighty, most of my committees have not met since the last report, but just a couple of updates. Mental Health A&E Committee, the next meeting is Wednesday, the 18th of February, so please come. Councilwoman Joffrey and I had a chance to go to the Crosstown Mental Health Coalition, the kickoff for this year. It was a really great event. It was something like a dozen towns in the region coming together to talk about mental health and how to show a shared commitment across the region to mental health. So to me, it's everything that Mayor Morgan talks about, coming together, doing good things together. So please look out for more for that, and please come to the Mental Health A&E meeting, volunteer. We have way more ideas than we have people for, so we really need your help. I also had a chance to go to the Union County Commissioners meeting, their first meeting of the year in January. It was a fascinating experience, including driving in Elizabeth a couple days after a snowstorm. That was fun.
It's beautiful this time of year.
That's a word. Although I got to say that their council chamber is way nicer than ours. But a couple of things that they were highlighting, there's a lot of events going on around the county for Black History Month, so information is available online for that. Please check that out. And they also highlighted the Aging Services Kiosk events. I didn't know that this was a thing, so I thought it would be good to share. There are a series of events for seniors and caregivers of seniors to help them get access to services and all the things that the county can provide. The next one is at the Westfield Memorial Library on February 17th. So if you are a senior or a caregiver for a senior, check that out. And the idea is that they just kind of have all of the information of all the things that are available for seniors and supporting seniors. And that's my report.
So Brian, are they going to be going to all the different towns and talk about that?
So the list for February only had Hillside, Fanwood, and Westfield's the only one left. I don't know if they're going to keep going. They just published the list for February. The resources are there anytime. They just are kind of bringing them around to the various towns.
Like a road show, I think that would be great. Wish we can
I've
get it
seen
here.
them, yeah, they started that, I think, maybe, I know I saw it last year,
Yeah.
that they were doing that, but we should see if maybe they would come to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can look into that. We'll write that
They
one
used
down.
to go around and have their regular meetings in different towns.
Oh, really?
They
Okay.
had it
Smart.
here at one time.
Okay.
That would be nice.
That would-
What a great idea.
Yeah. At any rate, one thing I did forget, I was at the Chamber of Commerce. Twice a year, they have the mayors from Summit, New Providence, Berkeley Heights. And we give an update to the business community and tell them what's going on. And the one thing I have to say, which is really good, is that the three towns, we really work well together. And we help each other out. It's really amazing. Usually, a lot of times, you don't get that between towns, but we've been doing it for a long time. As long as I remember, we've all worked together. And you have to realize that years ago, all three towns were New Providence, so. And I don't let them forget it.
Never.
But, you know, we just have a great relationship and work well together, so. No, the business community really is impressed by that. You know, if somebody needs a piece of equipment, you know, we help each other out. Whatever each other needs, we'll do what we can to help, so. But there is one thing I wanted to bring up, and, let's see. I'm looking for that, because Bernadette sent us a breakdown of how much the storm cost, how many hours the guys worked.
That was in
I'm trying to find it here.
Mayor, I have it if you want it.
Yeah. I should say.
Oh, I do have it. Okay. We incurred about $140,000 in snow removal related costs. And DPW overtime was $26,000. The salt was $22,000. Outside contractors were $88,000. The Public Works logged in a total of 834 and a half hours for storm operations. I mean, it's unbelievable. 365 regular man hours and 469 and a half overtime hours. People really don't realize that we have 42 linear feet of road. Miles of road. And I've been out there with the boys plowing. It's not fun. It's really plays on your head. You're out there and you just keep going round and round, especially when you get snow like we had before. You clean one area, you come back an hour later and it's filled up again. So it's a tough time. But
It's like one of those cartoons where like you plug one hole and water comes
Yeah,
out the
yeah,
other,
right.
you plug it, and it just bounce back and forth.
But the last two storms have been tough because they've just dragged out. You know, sometimes you're better off just getting your foot and it's out of here and they can just clean up.
Cold didn't help either.
No, but I thought it'd be interesting, everybody heard that. Okay. Bernadette, you're up.
Operations normal.
Perfect. And thank you. Thank you for what you do because you're right in the middle of that storm. things. Okay, at this time we have public comments. Anybody wishing? Yeah, Phil.
First of all, Phil Dempsey, 40 Hawthorne Drive, New Providence, New Jersey, I'd like to thank all of you for all your time and effort. It's a thankless job, if you, especially when you try and do it right, which you guys apparently have been doing. That last comment about the snow plowing. Now, I remember snow plowing from years ago when we used to have snow. And when the snow plowers went out, they went out in their beat-up Jeeps and trucks. They realized what it was going to do to them. Currently, our contractors seem to be more caring about their trucks than about how to snow plow. I mean, they have nice brand new trucks, and they're doing their job, but they're not doing it completely. And I'm sorry, but my experience and history I've seen, they're not as attentive to doing the job as I believe that they should be. That's the contractors. I imagine apparently it pays well based upon the breakout of how much money was spent. But they have to realize that this is a hard job that they're doing. And I know they don't want to get their trucks or the frame twisted a little bit, but that's what they're being paid for. They're being paid for at that rate to do that type of a job. And I would like to see them being a little more held accountable. I mean, I end up taking my my snow plow, the handheld, and I go up and down the streets on the side of my street just to make sure that there's room to end up moving. They don't push to the side. They're afraid they're going to clip the curb. They need to push up. We were very, very lucky this time that we didn't get that second storm that we projected the week afterwards, because if that had happened, we would have been in terrible shape.
Yeah, no, we had a problem with that one contractor. It's been addressed.
Okay.
We had to go back to Robert's school. It was bad. So, yeah, you're right. And everybody says,
this is experience.
Curb to curb.
These guys, they don't remember the storms of the 70s and the 80s when it used to pile up. They were kids. If they were here yet. But snow plowing was a job that you use your old equipment with. That brings up the issue about why I'm out there in the street pushing the snow back in or blowing it over there. I'm on the student walkway to the school on Hawthorne Drive. And as you know, the traffic gets backed up, and you should see some of the drivers and how they interact with the kids that are walking on the street. And they're slowing up, they're speeding up, they're looking at their watch or doing what they have to do. Now, for better than 7 years, I've been waiting for these sidewalks that are supposed to be coming down on Hawthorne. We were approved, supposedly funded, and everything was in place. My question is, I'm not paving my driveway until they end up getting the sidewalks in. But what's happening with it? It's been 7 years. It was approved. This was a state mandatory. There was supposed to be bids that had gone out and funding that was supposed to be secure. But this is 7 years.
Safe Routes to School is in the final design phase in your area. They have not gone out to bid yet.
Well, that's what we were told. We had a meeting here about a year and a half ago.
You were never told that it went out to bid because it has not gone out to bid.
When you had the meeting here.
I was here.
Right. So we talked about it and everything. And
we were hoping to go out the next summer.
Right.
And they didn't go out.
Well, I'm assuming based upon what you had said at that time, I didn't follow up with it. I don't have any school-age kids right now. But, this goes back, I had conversations with Doug before, we had to go from step to step to step.
Yep.
They were supposedly measuring. They did all the measurements as to how much they were going to calculate. But we have never heard about what's going on, what is going on. And to see these kids dodging the cars on that street, I mean, they are dodging cars. In fact, one of our neighbors was actually hit. Their child was hit. Luckily, it wasn't much, but it was bumped and pushed over to the side. can I ask the council, what's going on and how can we get this updated? And sort of like push forward. I mean,
As soon as we get the bid specs, they will go out to bid. We don't have them yet from the company that was hired to design it.
Do they have a contractual due date for
Yeah.
those?
No.
can we,
It's a federal government.
It's a federal grant.
And Safe Routes to School is amazing. It's great. You look at all these areas, you do this, you do
Right.
this, you do this, but then it goes into the federal government system, and it takes forever.
It comes from the grant comes from the federal government.
do we have the money?
That was my
It's not,
question.
it's not, yeah, we have the money,
Okay.
but.
It's not about the money.
It's on the money, and what they do, you have to use their engineers, their people, so if they don't come up with this stuff, we can't do it.
What's our congressman doing to help us alleviate this problem?
It's going to be in town on Friday.
Yeah,
Let's ask them.
On Friday.
I mean,
it's no Friday.
it's, I just don't want to end up seeing something happen in front of my house or on the street there. It's been close.
As somebody who, I drive my daughter to and from AWR, sometimes I carpool with other kids, and I see the high school kids, middle school kids walking all the time, even some of the elementary school kids, and you're right, like, there's no respect for like, the people on the road.
I step in the middle of the street sometimes just to slow the cars down.
Yeah, I mean,
With
I
a
always.
broom or
I
something.
mean, it's 25 miles per hour, I always make sure to go, like, you know, people are beeping behind me, but I know there's like the same 3 people that are walking on that street all the time. And with, you know, the crossing guard holding up cars, and then they sort of just speed up so they can like
Well,
make
they're
up
down the
like
street, right?
30 seconds of time to get from AWR, you know, to Central. It's definitely needed.
I want to get my driveway paved. I mean, it comes down to, I've got potholes in my driveway, but I'm not going to get it done until I get the sidewalks in, because I want to make sure everything is done complete.
Fair enough.
And again, I don't want to see any kids.
okay.
Well, I appreciate that there on those 2 points. In regards to who was doing the historical and scouting issues, you know, on the westbound side of South Street, there are very few parks. Most of the parks in town are on the other side of South Street, and that's always been a discussion on our side of town. Down where Central Avenue, where the power lines cross and everything,
Yeah,
there's a huge tract of land that's down there.
the counties,
It's,
and
yeah,
JCP&Ls.
well, it's a combination of several. Who was the mayor prior to you? The old guy who had Parkinson's?
Oh, Harold Wiley.
Barney? Yeah, how? You know, years ago when I was somewhat involved in trying to get things done for the kids and everything, I met with the state, I met with the county, Dan Benier at that time, and a state representative from the DEP. And we talked about that piece of property there. I talked with the power companies at that time as to what could end up being used. You know, there's a lot of land there that it falls under a cut and cover that you can move things around to end up developing something. But there is an historical piece of property there too that you can, if you look at the tax map, there is off of Central Avenue going to the left toward Berkeley Heights. There's a cut. Probably about 8 feet, 10 feet wide, that goes to a point down the river where historically, that's where there was canoe launches and boat launches on the Passaic River in New Providence. It exists. I mean, we have the right of way. It's our property down there. Perhaps something that the scouts or somebody could end up doing is to redevelop that. It exists.
To look at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Thanks a lot, guys, and best of luck.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Anyone else wishing to address council? Yes, Alan.
Alan Swanson, 47 Overhill Road. I wanted to express my disappointment that at a time when we're systematically eliminating Black history from our parks and our monuments and government documents, that we're systematically eliminating the Civil Rights Act of 1964. President is posting vile videos that talking about Black History Month that you haven't put out any kind of a indication or proclamation related to Black History Month from this institution. So I'm just disappointed. Is what I want to express. You have done this in the past. Proclamations, in fact, some years ago, even with George Floyd, I recall when right here in Centennial Park that you're talking about the Black Lives Matter, Mayor Morgan, and the proclamation that was done in 2024 was rather comprehensive. So I mean, that's really all I want to say, and I wish that you would perhaps rectify that before the end of the month.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks, Alan.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. I need a motion for items 1 through
10.
10.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Lerner,
Aye.
Ms. Dolan,
Yes.
Mrs. Jaffray,
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Aye.
Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
No, so be it. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Someday I'm going to vote against one of
Be
those.
safe
motions
out
just for
there.
fun.